Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 Takeaways episode from the Cory Underwood interview that I just posted this past Monday. I mean, if that one didn't just make you stop and think and give you the chills and just wow you, then I don't know what would. I mean, one of the most unique episodes I've ever had on there, to have somebody on who has attempted suicide, who is just a couple of years ago, and he is willing to tell the story, rehash what was going through his head, and be open and vulnerable about that. That was so powerful because, as I mentioned a couple times in the interview, I think it's both beneficial for people who might be going through things to help give them the courage to get it out there, to talk to somebody, but also it's important for the people who aren't maybe going through things right now to realize that maybe people in their lives who they don't even know are going through something, and they might be able to spark a little bit of the conversation. I'll go a little bit more into that, into my takeaways. But before I do that, make sure you guys, if you haven't listened to the episode, that you go back and listen to it, that you share it with a friend. Maybe you share it with somebody who you think might be going through something, because you literally never know when this episode literally could be the thing that saves someone's life. Hearing Cory's story could be the thing that saves someone's life. So send it to somebody that you love, and you never know. You never know. If you liked the episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you leave it a rating and review on iTunes or the Apple Podcast app and all that stuff. And before I get into my takeaways, if you're not subscribing to my Monday Motivation Trio 111 newsletter every single week, then you are missing out. I want you guys to have the best week possible every single week. I want you to feel at the end of every single week that you have no doubt in your mind that you inched closer to the best version of yourself. And the way that you got to do that is by setting yourself up for success on Monday morning. Just go to nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter to make sure you get one motivational quote, one inspiring video, and one killer workout in your inbox every single Monday morning, so that you can start Monday with a bang. You can go throughout the rest of the week with that momentum, and you can end the week at a better version of yourself than you started it. Again, nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter. Without further ado, let's get right into my 3 takeaways from Cory Underwood. Number 1 is talk to somebody. And I just can't stress this enough. And this is what he stressed so much. I asked him, I was like, back when you were going through this really dark time, back when you had the initial thought of potentially suicide, and he painted a very clear picture of when he and his wife separated and he took down the family picture from their wall. That's when he kind of had one of his really dark moments right in the beginning, and kind of maybe thought about suicide for the first time. And I was like, what would you go back and tell yourself at that time to make sure that you didn't go deeper and darker? And he would tell himself to talk to somebody. If you just sit by yourself night after night after night in your own thoughts, the negative thoughts are going to consume you, and you're not going to be able to get them out there, and you're not going to be able to talk to somebody about them. So if you're going through something, don't feel like it's weak to tell somebody else what it is that you're going through. It's strong, it's courageous to be able to get it out there, because most people don't have that kind of strength to be able to tell somebody that they're going through something. So have the courage and talk to somebody if you're going through something. Takeaway number 2 is be aware of the people around you. And the other person I asked him to talk to was, how can somebody who is potentially around somebody else who is struggling, how can that person give them permission to speak? What kind of questions could they be asking them? What kind of things could they be talking about in order to get that out of them? And he talked about the way that you need to do this is be aware of the people that you're around. Be aware of your friends. Be aware of your loved ones, because if you're really aware and you can just tell their difference in body language, you can tell the difference in their tonality of their voice sometimes. And if you're able to pick up on that stuff, then you can ask simple questions like, hey man, what's going on? Like, what's been going wrong maybe this past week or something? And then that can allow them that permission and give them that courage to be able to speak up to you. But I had a realization when we were talking about this. I was like, the only way that you can be aware of those small subtleties when you're with somebody is if you're very much in the present moment. And I've had a lot of conversations recently with people on my podcast about how to be in the present moment, because your mind can be in 3 different places. It can be in the past, the present, in the future, but your body can only be in the present, right? So the way we have that mind-body connection is if our mind and our body are both in the present, and that's when we're the best version of ourselves, if we have that mind-body connection. And the only way we can do that is we put our phones down, if we get out of our own head and are fully consumed in what the other person that we're with is saying. So be in the present moment and be aware of what other people around you, friends, family, loved ones, are doing, so you can pick up on maybe some subtleties. Takeaway number 3 is learn to love yourself. I thought this one was key because he was talking about how this was the biggest thing he had to work on when he was in the hospital after having shot himself. He said that other people in the hospital, his family was coming in and they were expressing so much love for him, but he wasn't even able to accept it because he didn't love himself. It took a long process for him to be able to forgive himself. And I was like, what was that process looking like? Because I know a lot of people talk about self-acceptance, forgiving yourself, and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, what does it actually sound like or look like in your own head? And he said the biggest thing that worked for him was praying. He said that praying out loud, he has never done that more than he does now and that he's done over the past couple of years. And he said that's been the biggest thing that's allowed him to start to love himself, and that way he can accept the love from others. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is talk to somebody. If you're going through something right now, it is not weak to tell somebody that you're going through something right now. It's courageous and it's strong. So be willing to talk to somebody if you're going through something. Takeaway number 2 was be aware of the people around you. When you're around family and friends, put your damn phone down. I'm trying to be much more intentional about that myself. And as I've said in the last couple times when I've had conversations about this on my podcast, the way that I try to be present in the present moment is when somebody else is talking to me. My goal is to be able to repeat back to them what they said and very much clarify what they said to me rather than me react with my own opinion. So be aware of those around you by being in the present moment and really hear what they're saying. And then takeaway number 3 was learn to love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, you're not going to be able to accept the love from others. I hope you guys enjoyed this powerful episode with Cory. Share it with a friend or family member. I just can't stress it enough. What if this is the thing that maybe saves someone's life? How powerful would that be? You never know. You never know. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the 3 takeaways. I hope you got something from it. I hope you're subscribing to the show. Make sure you rate and review the podcast if you have not yet already, because these messages that I keep bringing you guys, these takeaways that I keep bringing you from some of these amazing guests that I'm having on, these are the things that if you implement, if you take action on, are going to get you closer and closer to your best you.